Good morning. Well, I think it's just after 12 on a Saturday. So I've been to a car boot this morning, got one or two things mainly for the business, but no, these have just arrived. So they're just lights for the shed, which has got no electricity, and it is quite dark in here. So these, I'm hoping these will just attach onto a wall and will give me the option of working in here in the winter when it's a bit darker. So I'll put them up and see how it looks. At the moment, it's awkward because this the phone makes it look lighter than it is. But yeah, that's how dark it is. Which doesn't look dark at all, but it's bloody dark in here, believe me. And that is those fitted. And yeah, I thought they're really good. They were literally a tenner from Amazon. But yeah, that absolutely does the job. And this is my other purchase that's arrived today from Spear & Jackson. As you know, I like to get as many things from the car boot and recycled second-hand as possible. But I haven't seen one of these at the car boots. So I've got plenty of forks. That one snapped the other day. But that's a really handy one. Good old-fashioned short fork there. And then I've got two normal ones. But for the compost, we've got this one, so a proper compost fork, muck fork, longer handle and a wider gap here, really ideal for the compost. So yeah, spent a bit of money on that rather than my usual sort of £2 or £3 bargains. It was about 30 quid, but yeah, it's really, really solid. Wooden handle, nice bit of kit. So this little section, it's obviously a little border cut out of the slate. So when we arrived, the agapanthus was just about flowering, and they looked pretty good, but they really didn't last very long. I don't think, like the other agapanthus, it was all sort of root and very little flower. I've got a feeling these have been in here too long. So I'm going to cut them all down, see what we've actually got in there, and then decide whether we've just replaced the whole thing. There was also a dead clematis on there, so I think at this stage we'll just cut everything back to ground level and see what's left. Cleared that bed and got a nice collection of snails, and that's what it looks like. So a couple of those pots were underneath, so I'll just put them down. They're a bit wet inside, so let them drain off. We'll move those, use those for something else. Looking at this, I mean, this would come back, but I don't know whether we even want it. It looks well past its best, so I think on another day I'm going to dig all that out. And that agapanthus there as well in the pot for some reason. Some's in the pot, some isn't. That's going to go too. So we'll dig everything out, freshen up the soil, and then plant in the spring. I don't know if this sort of frame is a bit strange as well. Don't know why it goes on up to there. So I shall take that out and put some better timber in there, a bit higher as well, so we can build up the compost on top. We want to gradually go no dig, so if we can dig everything out and then start building up compost so that we don't have to dig in the future, I think that will work. Some sort of shell here as well. Ooh, and another selection of snacks. If only I was French, it could be dinner. Not that I like to stereotype. Right, so yeah, I shall get those out from their lovely cosy little home. Actually, I might need two hands for that, and you probably don't want to see what happens to the snails next. Morning, Jenny. You okay? Let's see what we've got to do this week. Monday morning, we've got our business meeting where Bob and Court come over for Lincolnshire pickers in about an hour. So I'll be busy with that for about 3 or 4 hours. But this week's jobs now are going to be to sort this out. So I did a bit more investigating yesterday, and there's just foundation everywhere under this. It's basically, I don't know, it's just a load of soil's been thrown onto it after they removed the ponds that they had. So when I say pond, it wasn't a lovely sort of nature pond. It was these 2 massive concrete blocks with 5 massive koi carp in. It's just sat in murky water. I didn't think it looked very good at all. So I asked them to move it. They moved it, and then they obviously just put a load of soil down. So we have now got to work out what we're going to do with it. I've done some investigating. There's, as I say, there's foundation everywhere, all the way along here, and then they just pop up in random places. God knows why, but and that looks like that goes all the way along there. And this one, that's like 2 foot wide, and I've got a feeling this will go all the way along there, and I'm not sure exactly what else. Don't know whether this is just normal sort of deep soil here and here, but there's little sort of gullies of it, so there's foundation there, and then you've got a little run there, so it's really, really difficult to know what to do. So what I have decided is, it's hard work, but I'm going to take off as much soil as I possibly can, go and put it in the beds that are empty at the moment, and that will be, like that dahlia bed will be empty soon when we store the dahlias for the winter. And let's see exactly what we've got, and then I'll build up some frames around it, build them quite high so we can put quite deep compost in, so even if they are then touching onto the foundation, they'll have a good 18-inch of compost, so we can grow a lot of crops in them anyway. So that's the main job this week. So for all those people in the comments, and I really appreciate your comments that say, oh, and it's so lovely you've got Jenny to help you. Jen, let's do a bit more digging. Jen, come on. Jenny. Jen. Yeah. She really does help. She makes every 1 hour job into a 2 hour job. Don't you, Jen? Hey? Nutter. So it's about day 10 of exactly the same weather. This sort of murky grey, very still. There's a little breath of wind today, but it's not windy. And yeah, it's been like this for 9-10 days, something like that. So what I've been doing this morning is, you probably won't remember, but there was some small paracantha just down here, and as soon as they go towards the top of the fence, the cows eat them, so they were never going to do anything. It's not established enough to sort of withstand that. I wasn't a massive fan, or I'm not a massive fan of paracantha inside the garden. I don't see the point of it in like big borders and stuff, because it's just not very pleasant to trim back. It's a bit of a thug. So anyway, so I didn't particularly want it. I was just going to get rid of it, and then I thought, oh no, we'll try and repurpose it. So also we had a variegated laurel there, quite a decent sized shrub, and not a bad shrub, but it wasn't in the best of condition because it wasn't in the right place. There's a load of debris falling on it from the horse chestnuts. It was just not doing very well at all. Hadn't been pruned for a while as well. So I've moved that took some getting up, and it was all entwined with horse chestnut root. So whether that survives or not, I'm not 100% sure. So what we have done is, so I don't want the Paracantha in the main border, but it has got some purpose. Obviously it's very good for wildlife, the berries and everything for the birds. And we've been having a slight problem, not a big problem, but just occasionally we get people parking the car or turning round right on our grass verge, which is our grass verge basically, and we've just planted some wildflower seeds ready for next year, and a car turned around on it the other day and left massive marks along here. So what we've done is put the Paracantha, I've trimmed it right back, it looks a lot healthier than it did, and we're going to have a sort of secondary hedge, so just to keep any cars from turning around or parking on it, and it will also protect all the wildflower section which we are building up just at that side of the hedge. So I'm quite happy with that. It's free plants, free shrubs that I wasn't gonna, well, they weren't going to stay where they were, and they've been repurposed. We've cut the bed out to size and works perfectly. 2 rectangles, one going that way round, one going the opposite way round over there. So I've done this first one, I've run out of wood, I've got a delivery coming tomorrow, so it's now just a matter of levelling it all off. We're going to have to work with this foundation down this side, so we won't be planting anything like potatoes, so it goes a little bit into the bed. But then all of that is decent soil, right until the last foot or so, which will have foundation on. So we'll have to make sure that we plant things like lettuce down this side, and then we can do more sort of deep rooted stuff in the middle. So now it's just a matter of levelling off, getting those stones out of the way, putting some membrane round here, and then finding some more stones for that. And then starting building this up with soil and compost, and then basically digging it over, so digging all the old chard and spinach and stuff into the soil, and then we'll top it off with compost, and it will be ready for next spring. Got a bit more work to do today. The weather has been exactly the same yet again. It's about day 12 now. It's just really weird. Okay, so not stopped today. It's been good. So the big patch, which looked a bit unruly, although it's by no means finished, looks a little bit better now. We've transplanted those lettuce that were on the path, well, the path that is. So we wanted a path to go run all the way from the shed and the garage, and the lettuce were there. So we've transplanted those. Don't know if they'll take, but they should do. And as soon as a really bad frost comes, I think they'll be destroyed. So it's just what we use in the next week or two probably. But yeah, that is better than I could have expected. Really happy with what we've got there. 2 massive raised beds. When we come to plant in the spring, we might go across in rows rather than the big long rows there, so that we don't have to have so many of each individual vegetable. But yeah, then both exactly the same size. I've had to support that one a little bit more because there's more of a slope. But it is very much coming together, and that is just going to be great for the new year. Starting to become a proper kitchen garden. Just the veggies and the herbs in here, and we'll keep Kirsten's border for the flowers, and this side of the border as well. We're going to fill these pots and have the sort of flowers going along here, a holding area for all her cuttings still on here, and then veggies, veggies, veggies. Jen, you're going to do some jobs? Not that way, this way. Come on. It's a really lovely day today. It's been 14 days exactly of the same weather, just grey and very still, but dry, so it's been okay. But today is a beautiful day, so we're going to do some jobs. Not sure what. I may well. So the two compost bays to either side, I think I'm going to merge them, turn everything over, and pop them in there. So that'll be one of today's jobs. I've just prepped a curry for lunch, so that was another. And then I've got some business stuff to do. I've got to clean some boots to get them prepped to sell, and one or two other things. I've also got to work on the paths in between the two new beds. So I'll make a start on that as well. Ready, go! I've got this one, it's better. Go! Which one? You're having that one? Okay, you ready? No, this way. Alright then, that way. One more, and then I've got to do some more work. Not that way, this way. Can't have both. Right, so that's the job done. Two empty bays into one. This stuff right at the bottom was really good. Really had started to turn into nice black compost. So it's all been turned, it's all been mixed a lot better. The top part of that was still really dry, a lot of pampas, and so I managed to get rid of a bit of that from here. Put it in our green waste bin. But yeah, that's now been properly turned. It's a bit dry, it's a little bit dry, so I have watered it a little bit. But there's been no rain for the last couple of 3 weeks really. So we shall cover that with some cardboard, and I think there's a little bit of rain due this week. What is it, mid-November nearly, so we're talking, if I can just now leave that for 3 or 4 months, we should have some good compost towards the middle and bottom. I have slightly added the last little bit of that bay into the monster bin, because this was predominantly green stuff, this was predominantly grass clippings, and it needed a little bit more brown, so it's now had a top up and it's all been mixed in. So again, that should really start to compost down. So I'm nearly finished on that now. All I am going to do is nip over to the cow field and add 1 or 2 cow pats into this, just to really hasten the composting and improve it. And then I'm going to work on that path near the new beds in the kitchen garden. Morning. So that's 2 bird boxes put up. This one is new to here, which looks pretty cool, on the horse chestnut. And then this one was here, but it needed a bloody good clean out. It was a mess inside. And that's on the oak tree. So hopefully, at some point in the next few months, we'll have something nesting in there. It really has been a gorgeous day today. So it's, what day is it? Monday. Yeah, Monday afternoon. I'm going to finish this vlog now. It's been sort of 10 days in the making. So that's what I've been up to over the last 10 days. Finally got a nice day's weather. And we're just finishing off, well, I'm just finishing off this pathway around the new raised beds. It's a pretty boring job. All I'm doing is finding areas of our drive which has got too much gravel on and shoveling it towards the new paths, which I shall show you now. So I've made a start on it. I've put some membrane down and we're just starting to fill in between the gaps. So that'll be all finished by next week. So that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave us a comment, positive comment and a like. It all helps the algorithms. And I shall hopefully see you in a week or two's time. Cheers. Take care.